Welcome to the SAS tutorial for Univariate Descriptive Statistics. For this tutorial, we'll be using a dataset called weights, and you can find the codebook in the Canvas module for SAS tutorials. You can find the dataset here in the SAS tutorials folder under your class folder. And what you'll need to do with every dataset that I paste here in the class folder is copy it to your class stat folder. So right-click, choose Copy To, and choose your class stat folder, copy, and done. Then you should be able to scroll up and see it in your class stat folder. Now we can move on to step 2, the libname statement. You can just go to your snippets. Hopefully you have saved this class stat libname statement. Select it, and there we go. Highlight it and run. Now let's click back to code, and we're ready to start running univariate statistics for a scale variable. And the variable we'll be looking at is age, measured in years. For a scale variable, a good way to run descriptive statistics is called proc univariate. Proc univariate is the command to generate a univariate table and graphic for a scale variable. So now remember, we always need to tell SAS where our data is. We can say class stat, and then the data set is called weights. Remember your semicolon. Now we need to tell SAS the variable we want it to run this command for, which is age. Then we need to tell it that we would like to create a graphic, specifically a histogram, because that is the appropriate graphic for a scale variable. And finally run. And now you can see the results for the univariate procedure for the variable age. We have our n, mean, median, mode, standard deviation, range, and interquartile range. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a little more information about the quartiles, so you can actually see the interquartile range is 7, so 7 years are in the middle 50% of the data, and that is a range from 19 in the 25th percentile to 26 in the 75th percentile. SAS also gives you a readout of extreme observations, the lowest and the highest values. And finally, a very nice histogram for age. Now we can click back to our code and move on to descriptive statistics for a categorical variable, which is smoke, and it's coded in 2 categories, smoked or didn't smoke. The command that we use to run frequency tables for categorical variables is proc freq. So freq for frequency. We need to tell SAS where our data is and the data set. And here, instead of var, we say table, and the variable we want it to include in the table. And here we have a univariate frequency table for smoke. Now to get a graphic to go along with the frequency table, we can either use code or we can use a drop-down menu. I'll first show you how to use code. First part starts out exactly like before, so you can just copy and paste. The next part is a little less intuitive. It's backslash plots equals free plot, type bar, and then scale %, and that means we want the bars to be percentages of the respondents, not the raw numbers. And here we have a bar chart for the distribution of smoking in our sample. Now, if we would rather use the drop-down menus to create a bar chart, we definitely can. So tasks and utilities, graph, bar chart. Now here, make sure the dataset says weights. You can click on the little dataset and you can find it. And now we can add the variable to the bar chart. So remember, we're looking at smoking. And then the final thing we need to do here is change frequency count to frequency %, because we want the bars to show the percentages. So after we've done that, we can click run. And there's that same bar chart again, just created a different way.